I know Optic Gaming are a very slay-heavy team. All 4 players have the potential to absolutely take over a map.
The unknown factor, I guess. We haven't really got to watch them. I've played other European teams more. We have to win searches versus them, because if they come out and steal some searches, all they have to do is take one respawn. You never know what they could do. I would expect us to beat Red Reserve. I wouldn't be surprised if they take a map or two. Or at least personally, I expect every team to at least be able to win a map. I don't think we'll go undefeated. I just think that's a little unrealistic, but who knows?
When we play Optic this weekend, split 1-1 in series, but I'm confident we can. You need to play a perfect game to beat Optic Gaming.
Well, there is a look, of course, at our map set now. It's going to be Red Reserve versus Optic Gaming, of course. Map number 1, Retaliation, Hardpoint, Throwback, Search and Destroy, Frost, Uplink, Scorch, Hardpoint, and Retail S&D if it goes the distance. Apathy, want to get your opinions here on this map set. Is there any hope here for Red Reserve?
I think Optic is just too much of a dominant respawn team. I really feel like the only map they could possibly take is Throwback, Search and Destroy. But Optic's obviously improved their Search and Destroy a lot. You know, they talked about it many times, and I've definitely seen the improvement in their gameplay. So I'm thinking the 3-0.
3-0? Fair enough. I feel like if I go down the line, you're all going to say 3-0, aren't you?
I'll say 3-1.
3-1? Okay.
I'm giving them a map at least. It's early on.
That's true. Which map then? Because I feel like there's a couple of ways you can think about it, right? Maybe Optic Gaming coming in a little bit overconfident. They could drop map number 1. Obviously, it's a hard point. Highly unlikely. Are you looking at the Search and Destroy as well?
I know it's a different group, and the practice hasn't been quite the same. I'm going to give the EU guys the uplink again.
The uplink?
Yeah.
Uplink does potential.
I just love that face. You're just like, really though?
I mean, S&D was Optic's best game mode back at Dallas. They went like 11-2 or something like that. So their quote-unquote worst game mode is actually their best. Their uplink is like everything is great with Optic Gaming. 3-0 is just the easy.
3-0?
Yeah.
Well, we'll obviously wait and see. The game about to get underway, so I can send it down to our fabulous casters for the series. It's Puckett and Courage.
Thank you so much, Benson. It's time to party. Before we go, though, I want to give a big shout out to Apathy. He's going to be playing in the playoffs. 500 grand up for grabs. He's going to be playing for a chunk of it. A lot of people think Optic Gaming is the clear team to be coming out here in week 4, but we got to remind people what happened back week 2. Everyone said FaZe going to cruise through. They were playing for their life at the end of day 3.
Oh, you can never know what to expect in these groups, right? With how this all plays on out, EG don't win a single map day 1, they get first. So the CWL Pro League has shown us so far that there is a lot of talent across these regions. I will say, though, right now, for a lot of people online, many are saying this is their easiest clear-cut top 2 with Optic Gaming and Enigma 6, especially with the lack of practice from some of the European teams that they've admittedly had coming into it. It's time, though, to get the weekend started. It's the green group, Chris, between Red Reserve and Optic Gaming.
Absolutely, and we should remind everybody just how important the map count at the end of the weekend is. If we have a tiebreaker, it's going to go down to map count potentially, and already we see a sniper being pulled out here in a hard point. Formal's going to open it up with 2 picks. Karma's in the feed as well. What are we watching here, Jack?
This is what you love to see. We talk about how the long-range sight lines are so important, how teams will run 2, 3, even 4 ND4s off the break of this map at times. But what has the longest range of anything? It's the sniper in the hands of one of the best in the game with the weapon. He gets 2 right off the break. It's examples of that. Little strategies that teams pull out on the biggest stage here in the Pro League. Optic Gaming already getting flashy off the break.
And they're not hiding anything. They're coming out of the gates with their new strat. So Optic continuing to control the kill feed. Karma, 4-1, is on a 3 streak. Keep your eyes on him as he'll be working for those score streaks. And Karma, honestly, this is a guy that every single time he gets camo, he makes the most of it. Unlike some of the players last week, this is a guy who never makes it
Oh, yeah, for sure.
apart.
Oh, yeah, and the big thing is, right now, you can make an argument for the likes of Karma, Gunless, even Classic makes some major plays with it as well as possibly the top 3 camo players right now in the game. But this is a start that Optic Gaming seem to always have on Retaliation Hardpoint, 53-1. If you remember, it was Karma who went on that crazy 11 streak just a couple events ago where he got fully streaked out. Even right now, they've been in full control, and it all started with the 2-piece Informal with the sniper.
This has been a dominant opening here for Optic Gaming. 34 points still remain, though, on that lower street, and that is where Red Reserve is currently set up. are currently on board with Urban, and he's got a 4 streak going here after starting off 1 and 4, starting to put it together. Karma, though, shutting down his teammates. Urban's going to have to rotate, and there's 3 Optic players to take down, instantly eliminated by Crim6.
Yeah, and with 15 seconds left, watch these green arrows of Optic. They're going to rotate through top market. No, this can't happen.
Ooh.
Okay, good. Shawnee did clean him up. That was way too close for comfort. But now it's just going to all come down to straight-up gunfights. You've got the Red Reserve team pushing from top bridge. You've got Optic coming from market. Red Reserve will have the number advantage for the moment as Karma's making his way across the minimap.
And as we look big picture here at these 2 teams, Optic Gaming, their worst event of the year was the very first, and that was back at Vegas.
Yep.
Since then, they have been 1st or 2nd place the whole way through. They've definitely reclaimed their throne as the best team in Call of Duty. Red Reserve, on the other hand, they started off with 2 other players back when they were Orbit, switched things up halfway through the year. They've brought on Shawnee, they've brought on Nile, and since then they were able to finish 5th, 6th way back at Dallas. That was 2 months ago, though, and they mentioned they haven't been practicing yet. If they're going to wiggle back in this game, they're currently down 75 points. Where do they get it done, and who are the big players you're looking out for?
I mean, you heard the analyst, mention how uplink, possibly the map that they can take. Search and destroy is huge. Shawnee has actually been one of my breakout players from Europe so far this year. We saw him first at that PSX event where it was really one of his first encounters in playing in North American soil. Now, as the year has gone on, he's remained a statement in the European scene, continuing to build his name up. He's just been consistent for the most part, and that's what's gotten him onto this stage with this team. Right now, though, currently 5 and 8, only 7 seconds in the objective, but the whole team is struggling. It's not just him. You've only got Joe in the positive mark.
Urban and Nile picked up 2 big kills, but here comes Scump. Joe's going to shut down Crim, but Scump and Formal able to trade out. So just like that, Optic easily runs through Red Reserve and retakes control.
And why has that happened? They pushed it slow. They played methodical. They got control of every lane. And where Optic are at their best is straight up gun skill. They all win their one-on-one gunfights. There's only one trade they have to get, and that was on to Joe. And when the kill feed remains all green like this, as Scump cleans up another, now 13 and 7, this is where Optic are at their best. They've got the confidence now to clear out the lanes. They're already going to be rotated to the new hardpoint. I'm seeing a 100-point club in the future of this map.
It was 7 unanswered kills before Karma finally got caught on a long flank. He ran all the way across the bridge looking for the spawners, trying to get behind the opponents. But now we're going to the hotel hallway. This is going to be up close and personal. And something I've noticed is very few E-Reds. Well, one of these teams eventually pull one out here.
The only time you can maybe make an argument for it is in this hotel hallway hardpoint. But for the most part, no reason to have him out on Retaliation. Scump more than happy to rock this K-bar, be versatile in whatever lane he needs to hold down. I mean, look at the control right now. They have Formal. Scump has not seen anybody in this hill yet. Finally, he's going to get engaged by one, does wind up losing it, and for the most part, that was just an awkward timing for his teammate who was on plat, who went to go hide for cover.
The best news there is you stop Scump, only allowing him to get 1 score streak. So he's going to have these Trinity rockets, but no Scorchers, and he has the bombardment locked in at number 3. You have Red Reserve clawing their way to 60 points, but they are deep in the hole. Optic Gaming, they are just 80 points away from taking game number 1.
Yeah, and I was actually talking with Scump yesterday a little bit about, how much of the LAN League has been watching. Has he been tuned in every weekend? He said absolutely, and he's been loving playing the game competitively, especially as of late. And I think it shows in the start that he has to this map. Already a minute inside the objective, leading his team at 17 kills alongside Formal. And Optic still have a 100-second lead. There's been no doubt since the first hill when they outscored their opponents, 40-1?
I'm just watching Optic, and I don't see a single gunfight, even on the mini-map that they're losing. Watch player number 5 right now on the left side of that mini-map. Flanking, Crim6 easily picks up a kill. Now they have fresh spawns. Crim is just going to rotate around the map. He's got a gun engagement here against Joe. It just looks like Red Reserve, they're spawning, they're just sprinting off spawn, and they're getting eliminated from behind.
Yeah, and they finally do break on through, but already 40 seconds in favor of Optic on this hard point. The difference we're going to see in our score breakdown at the end of the game is going to show a tale of a completely different story of these two teams in their long-range gunfight control on that top bridge. Formal has not slowed down from when he brought out that sniper in this game. Now 20 and 11. Thankfully for Red Reserve, they do have a heavy presence here near Bottom Street, and they get the scrap time. This is their best chance to start a comeback, Chris.
And this is where they gathered most of their time on the first rotation. Will they be able to lock this down and then properly rotate to the next hill? That's their best chance of getting back in this game. They break the 100-point mark, so no 100-point club. Optic, they've kind of taken their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. Now it's time to see who from Red Reserve is going to show up, because Scump trying to shut down everybody.
Scump inside bike. They know he's inside bike. He's able to get 3 kills by himself while weak. His teammates can then push on up. He single-handedly started that retake for Optic Gaming, all because he played his life and forced his opponents to push him. He didn't run outside and just die immediately. He got call-outs from his teammates, pre-aimed where they were coming from, and just straight up shredded them, especially Urban in that top plat area.
Props to Shani and Joe, able to pick up a few kills, but not enough to break into the hard point. I wanted to give them credit, but they didn't get the third. Optic picks up the last few seconds. Now they can finish it here on Cathedral. You got Formal set up. You got score streaks with him and Scump available. And Crim6 and Karma, they are pushing out these spawns so far. Red Reserve has their work cut out for them.
This looks like it could be the end of the game here now. Streak slowly coming on down. That'll spot where everybody is on Red Reserve. Optic know what they have to watch. If Crim pushed all the way up bridge, so rare to see a player this far up the map. They've got Market locked down. 240. Look at how far away. Just stop moving. If you're Red Reserve, stop moving. This game is done. Optic Gaming, this is the start you needed to see from the green wall. 250 to 108 as they dominate Retaliation hardcore.
I think that was about a 24 kill difference between the two teams. Everyone going positive or even from Optic Gaming. Crim's going to finish at about +4, +5. I think Karma was even, but Scump and Formal all over the kill feed all game long. On the other side, you looked for Red Reserve. Was there ever a multi-kill situation? I think I saw Joe get 1 double kill. Yeah. Shani got a double later in the game. But other than that, this was a one-sided affair.
If you're Red Reserve, you're facing Optic Gaming, arguably the best hardpoint team in the world. You're not a team that's known for your hardpoint prowess. So you're kind of expecting that, I think, if I'm being completely honest. So you kind of look at that. That's a wash. That's just game number 1. You're an S&D team. You've got to bounce back now in game 2. One thing I do want to say for Optic that I was actually happy to see was they bring out the strategy with the sniper off the break. They're not afraid to show that off right away. On Retaliation, they focused on retaking as a team. It wasn't like the Optic where they were so confident they just kind of flood it one by one and think that they could just make it happen by hitting it. No, they set up, they got in the correct lanes, and they just did it the right way. That's why they were able to retake so successfully a lot of times on those hard points. That was a solid effort right there from OG in regards to how they need to play hardpoint throughout this entire weekend.
Optic Gaming is going to strike first. They're the #1 team in the world for a reason, and it's time to take a moment and see how they got here today.
Optic Gaming's roster is one of the longest standing, winningest, and most talented teams in the history of competitive Call of Duty. Just shy of 2 years ago, Scump, Crim6, and Formal made the roster move that would define this team when they added the 2-time world champion Karma as their fourth. At times, they've looked untouchable, but at the start of Infinite Warfare, that was far from the case. Optic began this year with a cloud over their head, reminding them of their 7th place performance at the CWL Championship in 2016. Their fall from grace continued, as they were eliminated from the CWL Vegas Open by rivals FaZe Clan to finish 6th. Fans began to question the drive and dedication of this squad, and for the first time in this team's history, the community began to speculate if a roster change was needed. On the verge of another poor finish at the CWL Atlanta Open, a Game 5 Round 11 1v1 clutch by Karma against Panda gave this team the kick they needed. Let's go, baby! Since their incredible losers bracket run to finish 2nd, Optic Gaming have won back-to-back major events to not only regain their title as the undisputed best team in Call of Duty,
It's all Optic Gaming!
but secure the #1 seed in the North America Pro Points battle. Heading into the CWL Global Pro League, Optic Gaming have all the momentum in their favor. At one point, between Paris and Dallas, they won 23 straight maps on land. During that run, they looked as strong as they've ever been as a lineup, which is definitely saying something, considering all of their championships they now have as a team. On top of that, the reigning MVP, Scump, is looking to hold on to his title from Dallas, where he put up a ridiculous 1.17 respawn KD and a 1.22 S&D KD. Optic Gaming are a force to be reckoned with. A lot of their recent success has come from their improvements in Search and Destroy. At the CWL Dallas Open, they won 84% of their maps in that game mode. This is in part because they have arguably the best player currently in competitive Call of Duty, in Formal.
There goes the jump though! The FTL jump, too strong!
And the man with 30 major LAN championships, the most all time, in Crim6.
Crim6 lights up the kill feed.
Tune in May 12th to the 14th to see how Optic Gaming performs in Stage 1 of the CWL Global Pro League.
So that's a look at Optic Gaming. They're coming in with the #1 seed. They're at the top of this group, and they open up perfect. Nearly a flawless game of hardpoint in game #1. But now we go to Search and Destroy, and looking at the most recent event that both of these teams attended, it was Dallas. And in that event, Red Reserve's greatest game type was Search, winning 75% of them. They went all the way to 5th place, and that's with a terrible 33% in hardpoint and 42% in uplink. So that's just a testament to how often they went to game 5s and how strong their Search was.
Oh, absolutely, and that's really what got them through that whole losers bracket run. If you remember, EG had a similar losers bracket run. It was actually Red Reserve who stopped them in their tracks with a 3-1 victory over the North American squad. We're now going to Throwback, Search and Destroy, and if you like the sniper in the hands of Formal, something tells me it'll be back out again.
You
here
feeling
in
it?
game 2. Oh yeah, watch. If they spawn in the back bathroom area, he's gonna run right on over to that bus right there with the sniper and watch over Lemon and probably get first blood onto Shawnee, who's gonna have an NV4.
You're not wrong, Jack. As we immediately see, the snipers are out. And now it's time.
Here he goes.
To kick off game #2. The opening break, Formal going up top. Bus, opening shot, Niles missed, but he knows where 2 players are, calls that out, and he's just looking for the first peeker.
Yep, and that's all it is. And if you're on the side of Red Reserve, you have to know that this is how Formal is playing. They're trying to stack middle. Crimsix is just outplaying everybody right here. Oh my God, he got so lucky he ran out of ammo. That was almost a free 3-piece, and just like that, it's now a 1v1.
Yeah, that was a 1v2 for Formal. The pistol kill will tie it up. He switches to the K-bar, but did he see his opponent? Yes. Shawnee's been spotted. The bomb is down, though, and Formal just has to play for time. Might as well get the kill as well.
I can't believe that round was even that close. Crimsix is looking at his team going, hey, guys, I just nearly killed 3. That should have been easy for us to trade on out. It winds up being a little bit closer than they would have liked, but either way, great stuff from Crim to get that round for Optic Gaming.
Looks like this Red Reserve squad trying to play very aggressive, fast plays through the middle. They sent 3 mid, 1-player window on that first defense. Now it's their turn to attack.
And if you remember, this is actually the map and game mode combination where Formal and Arcties were kind of going back and forth in it with those sniper rifles, where Formal was missing some of those shots near that underpass area, and it was very uncharacteristic from him. There, Red Reserve just say, hey, if you're going to hit the shot, go ahead. It's one of the toughest to hit in the game. There. The back plate saves the camo player of Red Reserve.
Formal still not done hunting. Urban, though, is going to pick off Crim6. And we talked about that 75% win rate for Red Reserve. They never dropped a map on Throwback, Search and Destroy back in Dallas.
Well, now there's a free kill middle for Formal, so this will be a 3-on-3, but only 20 seconds left. Optic have to begin to push the agenda. Another player down on site, cleaned on up, 2v2, and they know there's a player on bus. Are they ready for the flank for middle map? They also have to get on the bomb. They do spot him. He's just got to start defusing. Scump's got to start defusing. He's just got to do it and trust his teammate. Did he pick it up in time? Did Scump pick it up in time?
I think he's got this.
Let's go to Scump's perspective.
And Scump's got it, Jack.
No, he doesn't.
0.2 seconds off.
Something like that. It looked like he slid into it, but just wasn't able to grab it in time.
I thought he had it for sure. And now you see Red Reserve. This is their opportunity. Will they be able to turn this into a bit of momentum? You see the frustration there from Scump.
Yeah, it was the right play, and he trusted Formal. Formal got the kill. But in the end, just a little bit too late there on the defuse.
Wow, so we're going into round 3 all tied up. Optic Gaming, they've given up first blood in round 2. Formal could get picked here from his left. No attackers showing their faces yet. And this one is just a slow flank coming through. Now Joe's going to be behind 4 players. He's running by himself, though. He had a teammate and instead just charged right into the K-bar of Scump, who's looking for kill number 2.
Yeah, and he knows where this player is. Seeing if he can possibly spot him out. Look at the pressure middle map now from Red Reserve. They're trying to get aggressive on Optic Gaming, and I think that that's the right decision. As just like that, Formal's left with just a pistol and the sniper rifle in his own spawn.
On the other side of the map is Karma, so both players going to try and work their way back to middle. Formal spots one. Nile sees him. Nile is gone. Player next to the bomb, and Formal's looking for the headshot.
Yeah, he's still just dancing around. He will be swarmed. FTL jumps away. Oh my goodness! Imagine if he had any other gun.
Try.
But imagine if he had imagine if he actually had a weapon there, even on that flank. Yes, he did hit a nice shot, but in the end, FTL jump already used. And we're just 3 rounds into this game.
And I think the key in that round was picking off Karma, making Formal all by himself.
Yep.
Solid gameplay so far from Red Reserve. Even though the initial flank didn't work, they don't give up the round. This is another round where Optic Gaming looks great at the start and then falls apart at the end. Where did things go wrong?
What I do really like from Red Reserve so far, really quick, is that they are being confident in their decisions. They're hitting out that mid lane. They're not afraid to challenge Optic just straight up in middle map, and so far they've definitely gotten control of that when they want to push it. If Crim doesn't get that three-piece, near three-piece and top ticket earlier on in this game, this should be a 3-0 Red Reserve lead.
Look for Crim 6 to be the first to peak. Scump is going to follow it up immediately. And Crim calls it out with the NV4. They've pulled back. Optic playing this one slow. Now Scump's going to try and get an angle. Everyone's going to try and hit at once.
Yep, they're just playing this very, very slow right now. Crim trying to at least stop the player in that top blue window. Urban and crew, though, they're ready for Optic. They know 4 players are hitting this. They've got full confidence to watch this lane. Another beautifully played round from Red Reserve. As look, how does Crim even try to go for anything here? He's got 3 players firing at him. They all come back to full health. Red Reserve, honestly, Chris, should be up 4-0 in this game.
Urban's playing fantastic as well. That is his second first blood. May have 3 total in this game, but that is at least his back-to-back on the attacking side. So things are working out here for Red Reserve, and I'm looking at the whole squad, just their faces. Optic, not on tilt quite yet, but they've definitely, you know, they don't have that same energy after that round 2 where Scump got blown up by the bomb.
Well, what's crazy for me watching this is Optic are just playing a little bit slow on some of their retakes. Right there, they don't go to try to push out that field lane until there's 29 seconds left on that bomb. So that's 16 seconds from when it's planted to where they actually begin to get aggressive and try to shut them down. Look, Red Reserve sent 3 middle again. They've already got the flank. That's going to force Optic off the plant. And Crim's all the way out near barn. There's nobody here. Urban with the flank gets it done.
Urban with a massive double. We got to start watching this guy more often. Crim 6, though, last member alive in a 1-on-2, and he is going to get cleaned up. We talked about, is Optic going to drop any maps this weekend? Well, it looks like we might see it already in match number 1.
Crazy to just see how much mid-map control Red Reserve keep on getting on these defensive rounds. There, they just storm on through. Urban basically just baits his teammate around the wall. They get the first blood. Then Urban surprises 2 other players from Optic with that 2-piece. And that type of style S&D is more of what Optic Gaming were doing earlier in the year, where Crim 6 kind of goes and plays by himself. The rest of the team sticks together. Crim looks for a play there. It's too little too late.
Urban this time is going to be the sole player over at B. The rest of his teammates went over to A. Urban's going to be shut down by Crim, and Scump took out Joe. Now it's going to be a 2-on-3. Red Reserve trying to plant the bomb. Nile with it in his back pocket, but there's too many defenders close by.
Yeah, and they should be easily cleaned up here. Crim now on the pinch. Niles all by himself. There it is. Nice job by Optic to at least recover there. And it all starts with getting first blood.
Crim 6 getting fired up. He was the one who picked Urban early on, and now you see it's formal with the final shots going in on Nile. Red Reserve, hot start, but they can't fold. We've seen how strong Optic is at the end of games.
Oh, and this is, we all know Optic with the 5-2 comebacks earlier this year. Potential for a 4-1 comeback in this game, especially as those payloads come into play. How exactly does Crim play it? He does go towards top ticket, and look at those Red Reserve arrows right out to middle map. This time Optic will challenge him. It's Nile with first blood.
Kyle's going to get the first 2. Yeah, Scump and Karma eliminated. Formal trades out 1, so it's a 2-on-3. Optic has their work cut out for him, and Shawnee's going to win another big one. Outshoots Formal. Crim 6 is going to find 3 in the mid, and now it is game point for Red Reserve.
This is why we talk about must-win maps for Red Reserve. The theme, like we saw last week, and when we talked about Luminosity against those European teams, especially with E-United as well, that the European teams needed to win the S&Ds and steal a respawn. The same thing occurs here with Red Reserve facing OG. They're on the verge now of taking this game too and going into that uplink tied 1-1.
Optic's going to be on defense. The bomb back in Nile's hand.
I think Optic are getting real aggressive middle of this round, especially with Scump having the E-Rat. Yeah, he's already charged right towards their underpass, and I will say I do actually like this a lot.
Urban looking for pressure from the middle. Now starts moving towards the bomb. Spots a player in barn, but is shot from the tunnel. Kills are traded out there, and there is Nile picking off Karma. So it's now a 3-on-2. Red Reserve up a man, but one has just been spotted by Scump.
Yeah, I think Scump realizes his timing window he had is now gone across the map, though. Joe finds where the car was called in from, and now it's Scump all by himself. 1 versus 3. Shawnee and Niall with payloads as well.
Apathy's getting fired up over at the analyst desk as well. He's like, Joe, nice plays, bro.
Oh, gosh. And Scump got spotted. That's why they're all pre-aiming that. Red Reserve, their S&D looks just as polished as it did back in Dallas.
Incredible stuff. Playing in the States, they haven't dropped Throwback since forming this team, Jack.
There you go.
Ridiculous stats that we're going to keep hammering home.
I love it. Might as well milk the stats as much as we can. We talked about stats last weekend. LG, through the first couple days, didn't lose anything on Throwback. Hardpoint, S&D, or uplink. It was just their apparent map that they were just dominant at. And either way, now we've got ourselves a series. We talk about map count, as you touched on at the start of map 1. That map later on this weekend, when talking about head-to-heads, who's going to get third, who's going to get second, could be very, very big for the big story of this league.
Are you surprised by Optic Gaming's struggle on this map? Would you hope that they would switch away from the sniper earlier?
No, I don't think really the sniper was too big of an issue. Yes, there were some scenarios where you would like to have it. He was getting his team a ton of information, but they were just giving up Red Reserve so much middle map control. And Red Reserve, I love the different pushes we saw from them on offense as well. Plan to get in field, slow playing it, playing some mind games with Optic Gaming. That's why they're a strong S&D team.
Everyone says they haven't practiced, but obviously didn't need it for that search and destroy when it's all tied up. When we return, we continue. Game number 3, we got Uplink Frost coming up next. Welcome back. It is day 1, the final week of group play here in the Call of Duty World League, presented by PlayStation 4. I just said the whole PlayStation.
Presented by the number 4. That would be quite interesting.
Still waking up today. We had a rough Thursday night, but we're here on Friday, ready to party. It's all tied up, Jack.
Yeah, and we just saw a lot of people, I went on social media, Nameless commending Red Reserve for their search and destroy gameplay, especially on the map. He said they 6-0'd us on this one.
Yep.
Reedy also got involved, so the same thing happened to us at Birmingham. I learned that it's Birmingham, not Birmingham.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah,
Birmingham, in the UK.
In the UK is completely different. So Birmingham. This team, we know they're good at S&D. That is not the question. But now they've got 2 respawn game modes. Going up against Optic Gaming, you've got to favor the green wall here.
Yeah, that first hardpoint was never even close. In fact, they simply got slaughtered.
Yep.
If you looked at the KDs, Optic all positive. On the other side, everyone negative. For Urban, that man closest to the camera just turned up in search and destroy. This team's got a little bit more swagger, and they're coming into uplink. It's their second best game mode. But the bad news is Optic on this map is incredible. They did not drop a single Frost uplink all of Dallas.
Wow, so you know they're coming out with the fire here on Frost. Watch out for the extreme aggression. This is an example of a map where a team that winds up rocking an extra ERAD can really change the pace of a game, which could benefit the European side on this map. It could be something to throw off Optic Gaming, where you think, oh yeah, the other guy's probably middle. Nope, instead he's sprinting in your base already with a submachine gun, wrecking havoc. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm excited to see this Red Reserve squad because last week the European teams honestly looked just as good as the North Americans, especially in uplink.
Very practiced with their tosses, it seemed, and I was looking backstage, a lot of the guys were getting ready, tossing their throws, getting warmed up for this one, but it's all gonna come down to the slang, right? You can't score an uplink unless you get 2, 3, 4 down and multiple times. So at the end of the day, keep your eyes on the camo players, and let's see how much work the SMGs can get done. We got Joe most likely running one. Urban has one in hand as well.
Wow, I actually don't think I've ever seen someone pick off a player hiding behind that box. Formal gets cut down, and Nile, in the end, winds up getting the final kill. It's all dead on Optic Gaming, and early drone control will go to Red Reserve as they try to push through ship.
Nile with the K-bar looking for the picks, has 2 players outside the door, knows the pressure's coming, but doesn't finish the kills. Karma comes in, saves Scump, and now they're running through all Red Reserve. The drone is being pushed forward. Karma's gonna go scoop this up after their next kill.
And that's actually huge from Scump. He picked Shawnee off that top ship area. He should have had a free kill to at least slow the Optic Gaming push. Instead, it's 3 dead again. This is what you talked about. You need that first wave to push on through. There it is, the dunk for Scump, as Optic Gaming are on the board first.
And Scump's gonna be working on streaks here. He's 1 away from getting his Trinity rockets. Those will help control the outside. Optic set up though to patrol the sub, not letting anyone get indoors. And Scump is gonna flank behind Joe. You got 3 Optic members outside. They could run this any direction they want. And Formal will keep the drone alive. Everything going Optic's way here, but the drone, from now, is going to sit down.
Yeah, so that'll go ahead and slow the pace for a moment. Big thing to note, Scump does get the full streaks already at 7 and 2, which streaks on this map might not be as impactful as others, especially with how much of a focus there is on the indoor area, but it's a great way to stall, can help you win off the break of a side. We'll see when Scump decides to bring those on out, still very early in the game, and already, look, he's got the drone, goes for the 1. Intercepted, though, by Urban right in front of the portal.
Yeah, it's a big play from Urban because Scump was just trying to thread the needle between 2 defenders, playing very confidently. Crim6 going to be the lead blocker here. You got Karma with the drone behind him, and they're just going to reset. Focus on kills first, and Crim is doing exactly that. Finally traded out, but that's 3 down for Red Reserve. Karma trying to block the spawns. You had Scump pushed up real far as Formal was going for the drone, but a good hold. It's Urban once again, this time a big double in the kill feed, and Shawnee's moving the drone.
I really like this 3 ERAD setup from Optic Gaming. They're matching the pressure that Red Reserve will put on. Urban and Nile, though, clearing out the mid lane. This should be a dunk for Shawnee as this game's tied right back up.
What a defensive hold there from Red Reserve, and they convert it into points, something that we saw a lot of teams struggle to do last week. Formal, Crim6, Karma, all in your kill feed, though. Optic Gaming coming right off the spawn, winning the fights, and now they have sub control.
Yep, and now they'll go ahead and try to move this drone forward. Knows to drop it. Nice play by Karma. They will toss it on down. There's the bombardment from Scump, using it right outside, forcing players out of position, which should clear this lane potentially for a 1. Hasn't happened yet. There it is. No! Kill just before he can get the throw off.
That's twice now Optic on their attack, stuffed just short. Once an interception, that time a kill from Red Reserve. Crim6 is going drone hunting. It's going to be Nile working with Shawnee on the perimeter. Niall's going to carry the drone.
Wow.
Shawnee's going to get the headshots. Urban in the feed as well. But a nice pick there by Scump is going to slow things down.
And you think of what we just saw from Red Reserve, they not only hold their base, but Scump uses the bombardment there. So one of those 3 streaks now off the table for Optic Gaming as this goes on. You've obviously got to keep track of that. We know how impactful these can be. Thankfully for Optic Gaming fans, Scump did elect to go with the Trinity Rocket and the Scorchers instead of just having that Scarab to use. So 2 more impactful missile-based score streaks still ready to go.
And everyone told me, you know, Scorchers are worthless. No one should run them. Nowadays, we're seeing a lot of players going back to them. Is there a reason to bring it out on all maps, or do you think this is a Frost-specific strategy for Scump?
I mean, you could honestly make an argument that the Scarab is very good for a map like Frost, especially with those indoor areas, but at the same time, maybe Scump is more confident in using that middle map. You drop down those Scorchers again, right through middle will clear that entire area, force players away from that drone or out of position. So Scump more confident in that one in his arsenal.
50 seconds left on the clock. Here comes Red Reserve. They want at least another 1-pointer. Urban's got that, and he's going to toss it in 3-2. Red Reserve takes the lead for the first time.
Optic score in the first 50 seconds of this game. Since then, Chris, they've been stuffed by an interception. They have another throw that doesn't go their way as Scump is cut down right before he can get the throw off. Red Reserve putting up a great fight yet again. So outside of that rough first map and hardpoint, they've honestly been hanging right with Optic Gaming.
And I think the difference is the E-Rads. You see Shawnee now picking up a nasty 2-piece, shoots Formal out of the sky there. Karma answers right back, but the SMG control coming from Niall, coming from Urban seems to be paying off. Ooh. Scump trying to land the melee will not be able to do it. Joe's gonna clear it. That will keep the score 3-2 going into halftime.
Another thing to note, Red Reserve being outslayed just ever so slightly and still getting the objective job done. For the majority, Optic Gaming had the map positioning, had the map control, were pushed up towards their base. The 1 interception, the other stopped push, the score streak that came in, all on Red Reserve's side. You think of the 2 times Red Reserve were able to push up into Optic Gaming's base, they were able to wind up getting 3 dead, go for a dunk, get the 1. It's how they've gotten these 3 points. Nice job by getting that second wave of kills they need to put scores on the board.
And everyone hyped up this guy, Urban, at the start of Infinite Warfare. Everyone's just saying, you know, he was pretty good in Black Ops 3, but he's a whole new animal on this game. He showed up massive in that search and destroy. He's leading his squad right now, and they're going to open up with the opening kills. Now we have Joe leading the charge. Niall's going to put a 1-pointer up. That only took 24 seconds. Red Reserve trying to run Optic out of this game.
And what I love, too, is Red Reserve have a very good knowledge right now of their openings, right? They knew if we rush this right through, don't hesitate, we can get a 1 and that's it. They just played for the quick 1-point play because they knew, hey, even if we all die here, we have enough to do what we just did right there, which is win the gunfights in middle map. 4 dead again for Optic Gaming. If this slang slowly goes into Red Reserve's favor, I think this game could get ugly quick, Chris.
It's been a lot of team fights that Red Reserve is winning. When they get spread out around the map, that's when you see Optic kind of show their dominance in the individual battles, but good trade kills coming through when there are team fights. Drone not going anywhere. Optic too strong, has 4 up still on defense. Joe's gonna pick 1, but Scump is right there to trade. They have total control.
Optic Gaming are 100% the better team so far inside this ship and robo area, the most popular lane on this map. Everywhere else, another interception, this time by Niall. That's now the 2nd this game for the Red Reserve team. But back to the point I was bringing up, it seems like everywhere else on this map outside of that ship and robo area, Red Reserve is just the better team. I want to see them continue to move the drone through these different lanes, bring it towards the top side of your mini-map. Right now, again, they bring it into here. The submachine guns of Optic Gaming win the gunfights. And again, the push is stopped.
Urban just resets that drone, tries to buy time for his teammates who are coming off respawn to get into position. Optic Gaming has 3 minutes and 10 seconds to work with, but they're down a dunk. Need to start getting control and pushing their way up with 3 up. Every single time, it seems one player has been able to slow them down. And then we've seen the 2 big interceptions and 1 player being stopped on the throw attempt for Optic Gaming.
And right now, that is the entire difference. This should be a 4-4 game if there's not those interceptions from earlier on. Crimsix does have his overdrive, so if he finds he's got an opening here, he could try to force 1 through. I want to see Optic Gaming slay now. Keep the drone dropped. Don't let it reset and just get kills. There's 2. The 3rd from Formal. Now is the green light. Watch, they're all going to flood the drone. Crimsix can use that overdrive. There it is. This will be a dunk. 4-4. That's all I've wanted from Optic Gaming. Those 2 times the interceptions happened, I think they just try to force the drone too much. Instead, drop it, get the kills, and don't panic.
And Karma actually ran all the way out on the perimeter trying to get a rally. Good stop from Joe will slow them down a bit. Scump knows they got to get the kills one more time, and he is so close to his reactive. Not going to have it quite yet, though. Formal has an FTL jump, and now he's got the drone. 3 down. It's only Nile up to trying to attack from the back.
Look at this E-Rad.
Formal's doing work here. We have all 4 members of Optic surging. Here come the Scorchers. They're looking for another at least 1-point play.
And they've forced Red Reserve inside this ship area. So Optic Gaming, they know exactly where these players are. Interesting to see the E-Rad with a sight on it. Really the first time I've ever actually seen that in competitive. As Formal, he knows they have to put on the pressure. They're now running 4 E-Rads on this map and just flooding the base of Red Reserve. Now Krim just buying time, can go for this long-range one to get the lead.
Nope. Intercepted again by Joe this time. So you have Urban with an interception, Nile, and now Joe.
I love it, man. This Red Reserve team putting up such a fight. 9 minutes now into this game. You've got reactive armor from Scump. The lane is cleared. Formal should have that camo ability ready to go. Do they decide to push on through? Yes, they will. Crimsix, he's too scared to go for the one. There you go, finally. Doesn't want to give him the interception. Optic Gaming take back the lead.
They have a minute left on the clock. Optic just has to stop Red Reserve from scoring, but they've been winning so many gunfights. They could keep running up the scoreboard. Urban on your screen looking for one. Gonna use the FTL jump to survive, but not long. He's chased down from behind, and Red Reserve is just spread out across the map here,
Yeah,
Jack.
sorry, I did not mean to say Formal with camo. I was talking about Karma. So close, him and Joe both are. This could be the saving grace for Red Reserve. Does die in that gunfight, though, so I think Red Reserve will really have one final opportunity with camo. Karma does get his, so watch out for these tools in the final seconds of this map.
Drone is currently in the hands of Red Reserve. They're trying to get it to Joe, and Joe is behind that drone. Now he's got it. Shawnee's gonna lead the way with the reactive.
That's 3 dead. 3 dead on Optic Gaming.
And Joe still needs about 50 points before he can get the camo. No camo available. No score. Optic with 5 seconds left is gonna lock this one up.
And now, Chris, imagine if Joe had something called active camo right there, tries to force the drone on through. You know Optic are gonna be in the base ready for you. OG barely win that map. As you're looking at that, and you're a European Call of Duty fan, you're frustrated that Red Reserve couldn't close that out. They played better 90% of it.
I'm so impressed, though, that they hung this close to Optic. From the start, they were getting outslayed, but they never panicked. Seemed that they were starting to gather momentum as they had defensive play after defensive play in the first half, and they actually go into the half with the lead here. It was Optic turning up, though, in the final 2 minutes, so that sealed the deal.
And this is what I love about having the pro player apathy this week on the desk, because Envy is a team that at one point this year, I know from reading Slasher's tweets, was not a fan of Frost Uplink, but now they're a team that has improved in the game mode. There we see Optic Gaming when things weren't really going their way. They were running 3 E-Rads, and then Formal had that K-bar out. Then they swapped to 4 E-Rads, picked up the pace, focused entirely on that ship and robo area where they were just beating Red Reserve in every straight-up gunfight, and they wind up coming back and winning that map. Great Frost Uplink, neck and neck between both those teams through and through.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people are a bit surprised to see how close this series has been so far. Looking forward, though, to see will Red Reserve be able to answer back. They've been outslayed in both of the respawns. They're going to need a big game number 4. But before we get to that, let's take another look at Red Reserve.
Red Reserve has gone through a lot of changes this season. At the beginning of the Infinite Warfare season, the organization was without a team, but they obtained the Complexity roster following CWL Vegas. Prior to CWL Atlanta, the former Complexity roster announced they would not be representing Red Reserve after the event, leading to Red Reserve's purchase of Orbit. That meant Joe, Rated, Urban, and Zero would be operating under their banner. However, the team would not stay together long. The team felt the impact of EU roster mania following CWL Paris, leaving them with a roster of Joe, Urban, Nile, and Shawnee to compete at CWL Dallas. In the 2Ks leading up to Dallas, the new roster finished first and second in the 2 tournaments, going from a question mark to a dark horse at CWL Dallas. Their tough pool sent them to the losers bracket, where their run to finish top 6 was incredibly impressive. They managed to take out Supremacy, Fnatic, Enigma 6, and Evil Geniuses, before ultimately falling to European counterpart Splice, in what was one of the best finishes by a European team in Infinite Warfare thus far.
Major credit to Red Reserve for making that one a very, very close match when it came down to that last hard point.
The current incarnation of this team will be defined by the aforementioned losers bracket run at CWL Dallas. But what really gives them promise moving forward is their success in Search and Destroy. Not a single player on the squad finished Dallas above a 1.0 KD in Respawn game modes. Their statistics in S&D, however, are almost the polar opposite of a team like Luminosity in North America. Shawnee jumps to a 1.13, Joe to a 1.14, and Urban to a 1.13. Keep an eye on Red Reserve's performance in this game mode, as they won 75% of their S&Ds at CWL Dallas. Teams that are strong in S&D have the ability to steal a series from many top teams. However, if they want to consistently hang with the world's best, they must fix their respawn woes. Tune in on May 12th to 14th to see if Red Reserve can continue to build on their momentum in Stage 1 of the Global Pro League.
That's a look at Red Reserve and how they got here. We already saw their strength in Search and Destroy. They just had a very tight game of uplink. But coming up next, it's their worst game mode. Hardpoint game number 4. We're going to Scorched, and we know it's going to be a battle of the dance-offs, Jack. Who has the better worm?
Oh, we'll have to find out in this one. We've seen it on Drill, especially on this map. But either way, with Red Reserve, I was just thinking, and obviously the European teams so far in the Global Pro League, some, I guess, lackluster finishes in their respective groups, but I feel like every team has improved since the big roster swaps have happened. For example, with Red Reserve, I think they're better than they once were. I think Epsilon are now better with Josh on it. I think Splice is a better team now with the changes that they've made.
I don't know if you can say Elevate's any better after losing Shawnee.
Okay, that's one that I can definitely agree with, but even when that Elevate roster was formed, I mean, I have such high expectations for them. We'll have to see what they can do this weekend. Obviously, they'll be playing next year on the main stage against Enigma 6. Either way, we should be ready for Game 4 to get under the way, and if I'm being honest, I think this series ends right here, Chris.
Yeah, if you look back to game number 1, you had Scump going +9, Formal +10. You got to shut these two down. These are the Juggernaut Slayers on the server. Get in there, cause some problems. What can you do, though, to throw off Scump, to throw off Formal on a map like Scorch?
Oh, gosh. I mean, at this point, I don't even know. Maybe bring out some different tacticals. You know how these players like to hold some of these lanes. You know Red Reserve has seen a ton of Optic Gaming gameplay. There's been so many examples of Scorch hardpoints so far in the league. If I'm certain teams, I'm trying to get as much time as possible, especially in that Turbine and top Hanger Hill.
Keep your eyes on the mini-map in the top left corner of your screen throughout this game. First game of Hardpoint, it looked like it was just individuals coming off spawn into slaughter from Red Reserve. Will they be able to wait for each other and attack as a squad? That is the strength that we've seen from all of the top NA teams.
I actually love how they played that off the break with Scump going passive with the NV4. They immediately get 4 dead on Red Reserve, and now they'll be into the hard point right away. They wound up sending 2 players towards top hangar and threw grenades over into that little door area near that side warehouse and weakened everyone from Red Reserve as they charged out.
I love watching the mini-map with just Formal and Karma. It's obvious that the communication is on point. Both these players just rotating, watching each other's entrance as they had early control of the hill. Red Reserve, though, coming right back. Urban, he is the man, picks up 2. Nile is in the feed as well. 15 points remain here on the bridge. Red Reserve trying to control it. And if you look at the spawns, Jack, not too shabby to open things up.
No, not at all. And they've already got Shawnee on your minimap clearing out that drill lane, doing what he can to at least put the pressure onto Optic Gaming. And they will still get this close spawn. That could have been quite bad for Red Reserve. Thankfully, they do have enough of an anchor there to at least force players to spawn on up. Formal already charging in. And I just like this from Optic. They know they have a number advantage, so they just 4-hit this lane.
It's so frustrating to watch because if you're an EU fan, you see Red Reserve, all right, we got the good spawns, we have all 4 up before Optic attacks, and then Formal happens. Yeah. Just comes through, steamrolls everybody. He's 7-2 on a 4 streak. The man's working on score streaks, and he's about to get them.
Yep, there goes the first one. Now more probably in his future. Red Reserve, now they're just getting desperate. They're trying to hit that outside lane. They're going 1 by 1. This is where they've got to just stop. And this is where this team struggles in hardpoint. They're just flying over 1 at a time. Yes, they'll get these last 15 seconds, but they could have cleared that at the 30-second mark if they just had their first entry man just wait a little bit longer.
That was the same problem we saw with Millennium just a week ago. Constantly running by themselves. Shawnee setting up top here in the hangar, knows there's going to be pressure. Erad outgunned by Formal at short range.
Yeah, and look at this pressure already. from Optic Gaming. They've got the back rocks. They have 2 players inside this hard point, and they know what they have to clear. I like this from Red Reserve, though. They are going for the spawns first instead of just charging into this hard point. Gonna be up to Joe and crew to get these first kills.
Joe gonna try and lead. That's player 5 on your mini-map. Now you have Urban crashing in at the same time. 2 down. Crim6 holding strong, though. Picks up Urban and Shani. It's all up to Scump. And Joe will be able to get the time as his teammates are coming off the spawn. Everyone went across Skybridge here for Optic Gaming. They're just running right at Red Reserve.
Yeah, and look at Scump just charging on through. That's an example of Optic Gaming that you don't want to see, right? Where they're just trying to push in one by one, basically just feeding streaks. Look, every single kill is easy for Red Reserve in that final bit of scrap time. If you're Scump there, at least wait for your second player to push in, go through 2 different angles. Instead, they both try to hit the top door. They wind up getting cut down. 66 to 61, Red Reserve doing a much better job here on Scorch Hardpoint.
Niall was able to run in, pick up 1 player in the factory, but it's Optic with control. The middle street, that's where Red Reserve is trying to attack from. There's constantly 1 player from Optic watching it. This time it was Crim6. Niall nervous to poke, and just like we saw from Optic 60 seconds ago, it's Red Reserve running in 1 at a time and getting picked off. Optic has picked up 20 unanswered points here on the drill, and they could lock this down for a full 60 if Red Reserve doesn't fix this mistake.
Yeah, but Optic Gaming are kind of holding this hard point how the game used to be played, how the old meta for Scorch was. Typically now, as of late, because of certain movement mechanics you can use behind cover, you wind up having teams try to hold from that rock side. Instead here, they get blue. They trust whoever they can to watch middle map. And once you have that, look, Crim has no worries. He has nothing he needs to worry about. Now, finally, they'll have to watch this flank, and there it is. But it's taken 50 seconds for this to happen.
And Optic got 9 of the last 12 kills. That's the biggest difference maker. Finally, Shani's able to break in, goes on a 3 streak. But at the end of the day, the last minute was dominated in the kill feed by Optic Gaming. At the top right corner of your mini-map, you see Optic had 2 players going up against 2 from Red Reserve. Karma was sent on the long flank at the bottom half of the map. Optic knows they have total bridge control. All they have to do is watch these entry points, and Karma not letting anyone out of his sights. He is melting through opponents. 4 streak here. He's now working on his Trinity rockets.
I think a big thing, too, we're noticing is that Optic Gaming are doing a great job in these last couple hills of picking up the lanes, picking up where these teams are spawning at. Like right here, Karma immediately notice there's a 1-second window where he says, wait, I should be seeing someone right now pushing from this back rocks area. Then he turns right around, now trying to win the gunfights for these new spawns. The score was 66 to 61 in favor of Red Reserve when we pushed to drill. Now 147 to 76. Optic will get 2 hard points of 50 seconds or more, and they're already here for this next hill.
And even though Karma falls, Formal picks up both Shani and Joe. He was the hero breaking into the turbine this time around. He's the hero defending it. Karma set him up for success, and Formal coming through time and time again. In come the score streaks. Not much happening there, but Crim6 holding strong with his ERAD is going to keep Red Reserve way outside of the spawns.
Yep.
And you're going to see a nice flank coming in from Karma if he plays this right. Picks up 1, going to find a second. And unfortunately, Shani's going to outgun him. But regardless, you have enough Optic pressure at the top of the map that Red Reserve, this could be back-to-back-to-back hills where you are just getting slaughtered. 150 points potentially for Optic right here.
Oh, straight up through. Red Reserve has not even gotten close. Formal started the first map, 28. Here he is again on a 6 streak, leading his team at objective time as well. Even if they do get the scrap time, the damage has been done, and they're forcing Optic spawns at the new hardpoint. So you have 2 players there. They can fight for that back rocks area. Optic about to be up by, 120 seconds if they can get control of this hill early on.
This is where Red Reserve started picking up quite a bit of time on Hangar after breaking Optic's setup. They had the ERADs at short range, were able to outgun the individuals who were attacking. This time around, though, it's Crim6 and Formal clearing out the back end.
Yep.
At the front now, Scump is going to help reinforce Crim. You got to get through Crim's SMG, and it is not looking good for Red Reserve. Optic here is going to need 1 more hard point, but they are going to bring themselves within striking distance of closing out this map.
I'm telling you, man, it's like when Optic finally just catch their breath for a second, when they stop flooding 1 by 1, when they get the setup they want, and the game gets kind of put into their pace. They call out, they watch what they need to, then they just take over. Remember, when we went at the end of the last drill hardpoint, or going into the last drill hardpoint, it was 66 to 61. Now as we enter this new drill, Optic are up by 120. Yes, Red Reserve will get some scrap time, but either way, OG will get the setup they want yet again.
You need a big play here from Urban and Joe. Joe's going to get the first pick on Scump. Urban trying to make his way through middle, but he's tagged up. And Joe could give them initial control here for Red Reserve. 3 players from Optic set up on defense. The first one's picked by Nile. Karma, though, coming through again. The double with the K-bar, and Krim is there to grab the third. Optic's got this one finished.
Yeah.
All they have to do is hold on for 20 more points.
And I did like what Red Reserve did there. They actually sent 3 players through middle instead of going one by one. Kind of caught Optic off guard for a second, but then the 3-piece came in from the likes of Karma as well as Formal. 235 to 117. One final push is all Optic Gaming need to take this series.
Optic Gaming with a blowout here. In match number 1, they struggled in the search. The uplink was close, but when it comes to hard points, this has been disgusting. Karma's just going to use his camo, doesn't see anybody. 3 more players set up to defend the hard point, and they're going to lock it up right here. 250, 123, doubling their opponent's score.
That make it look easy. Such a difference in Optic Gaming for the first few hills of that map, and then from when they kicked it into gear at that first drill, they did not look back. That is what you expect to see from this squad as they take their first series of the weekend 3-1.
Looking at those numbers, Formal just continues to impress in hard points.
Yep.
Another plus 10 or more dominant showings when it comes to the slaying battles. Red Reserve, they have the teamwork. Now they just need to figure out what are the holes in their game. How do they step it up? They're definitely a threat, though, to teams like Enigma 6 later on.
Oh, absolutely. Do not count this squad out at all. You still saw their strength at S&D. That map can come up twice in a series, but I think we know their theme of the weekend will be taking a respawn. It looks like right now, Uplink is absolutely the game mode that they're going to have to win throughout this weekend if they want any chance in these series.
We'll see what they can do a little bit later on. If you're looking for kind of a great takeaway here for Red Reserve, or even a good one, Jack, is there any shining light? For me, it was Urban.
I mean, if you think of Optic Gaming fans, right, they tune in, they see their team. I'm sure a lot of them thought, you know, this would be a quick 3-0 stop. They were holding their breath, especially through the majority of that uplink where OG could have gone down 2-1. I think right there was their takeaway. Red Reserve, many people thought they were going to get stomped. Instead, they keep it close. And now going into their matchup later on in prime time against Elevate, I've got to favor this team.
All right, we're going to have to, I think I'm going Red Reserve versus Elevate as well. We'll see what's going to happen with our European teams, but right now we know we have Optic Gaming opening things up with a perfect record representing North America. And on the stage, we got Maven with Formal.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, Matt, buddy, I want to talk. I was talking to Seth outside. You know, you guys were one of the first teams that did the 4-1-4s off the break on Retaliation. I had not seen the sniper yet. What's the deal with that?
Honestly, it's just a clear sight line for the first guy that goes to, like, the wall run, and Damon told me to kill him, so I was like, I'll just snipe him, then I just took out the sniper.
Well, it worked well. I mean, it looked like easy pickings. You got 2 kills to kick things off. The other thing you did that was a little different with the E-Ride. I hadn't seen the ELO sight used on it before. Why did you decide to do that?
Honestly, I just can't use the iron sight. E-Rad, something about it just doesn't like rub me the right way, and the ELO is really easy to shoot. So I've been using it online in like 8s and stuff, and it's actually really good. So that's fine.
It seemed to work for you. Last thing I want to ask you is just about the end of the uplink. You see all the kills coming in for Red Reserve. I think Shawnee popped reactive and killed like your entire team. You're by yourself in the base. Kind of break down the final moments. How do you clutch up like that?
Honestly, I knew they were going to be going blue, and when teams go like back blue, I knew they had to get a dunk or at least a 1 to tie, and they kind of funnel through the back door, and it makes it really easy if they go 1 by 1 by 1, and the last guy had the ball, so they made it easy on me to do that.
Well, big plays, and you guys get the first win handling business for Optic. That'll be it from us. Thank you, guys. We'll toss it back over to the desk.
Thank you very much, Maven. Of course, business as usual there for Optic Gaming. A fantastic 3-1 victory for them. Obviously, we'll break down the series now. Obviously, starting with map number 1, it was 250 to 108 in Optic Gaming's favor. Obviously, we heard Maven just talk a little bit about that sniper rifle, asking some questions. But App, as soon as you saw it, you were like, yes, I recognize this. Is that something that he's used against you personally, or how did you know he was going to use it?
Well, we actually scrimmed them before I came here, and yeah, they used it in practice. You know, he pulled it out, and we were kind of amazed at it because that's like the first time we ever saw it. And you know, it's a good strat. I mean, you're allowed to get a first easy blood, and it like relieves pressure off that wall run. So I'm not really amazed by it, but it's definitely something good.
Yeah, maybe is that something we might see Envious start doing?
We'll see.
Maybe. That's definitely a maybe. But talking a little bit about how the map started to develop a little bit for Red Reserve TP, it almost looks as if they were playing a little scared at times.
It's just when you set up for hard points, especially on those money hills for the hills 3 and 4, you can't sit so far back, and that's where it really got out of hand for them. You see Optic Gaming 76 on Grave, 34 at Broken. The way they were able to get that wave of pressure out when you're holding is why they were able to hold so easily. Yes, they're slaying out pretty heavily in the map overall, but Red Reserve, when they would set up, it was sort of the opposite. They'd see a gunfight and sort of cower back into the hill, not getting that pressure out, and Optic took complete advantage.
And obviously, Chance, there, you heard TP mention it, that the outslaying, I mean, Optic was killing everything.
Yeah, throughout the Global Pro League so far, I think on Retaliation, it's like 15-0. The team that outslays on that map is going to win. And of course, that means if you're outslaying by 1 or 2 kills, you're going to have that advantage. Optic outslayed by 23 kills. Doesn't really matter what map it's on. If you're outslaying somebody by 23 kills, you're going to win. So there's not much more you need to say.
This is true. Of course, Optic go up 1-0 in the series. Then we head over to a map number 2, and I got to give you some credit. App, Teep, you both said it. If there was a map that Optic Gaming was going to drop, it would be that. Unlike Chance, your prediction went straight out the window there. But in terms of Red Reserve, what went well for them, Apathy? What was that key to success in this map?
I just felt like they were very aggressive, and they fought for map control. I felt like off the break and off the start, they were always pushing up, they were always flanking, they're always applying some sort of pressure. And mid-map, if you get control of mid-map, it allows you to push through like so many areas. You go underpass, you go top red or top green, you go sidewalk, you could just jump down, and it just open place for them.
And then on the flip side, Teep, I mean, what went wrong for Optic Gaming? I mean, I think a lot of people would have expected going into the series it would have been a 3-0, but they obviously didn't take map number 2.
It's a bit weird of a strategy overall. You saw how they were able to play fast and outslay on the hard points. The S&D was a bit of the opposite. They're playing a little bit slower back. I think that was partially due to Formal Sniper. Yes, he's hitting some shots, but when you have a sniper like that, you have to sort of play around him. You don't want to send out players and not have the numbers over towards middle. But also, Red Reserve was able to take the bomb over towards B, get that plant down, and when you back up towards blue, Optic wasn't ready for that several rounds in a row. You got away from him.
Yeah, and the counter strats were huge. Twice they were able to go to B. Optic never sent a single person on defense over in that direction. They were giving up the free plants. The second time around, they tried to cut off mid-map, and they made it a little bit more interesting than the first time around, but the counter strats were too good. And then on the flip side of things, Optic, even when they were on offense, they were just so tunnel vision, staring down at that A-bomb when they had it planted, and they weren't watching the flank very effectively at all. I think Urban, like twice, was able to just run around the map for free, nobody to watch him, picks up those big 2 pieces, and opens up the map for the team.
Well, series tied at 1-1. We head into a map number 3, and I mean, to be honest, I think that was probably closer than a lot of people expected. Obviously, it goes 5-4. Optic Gaming do take it, but what I want to talk about, App, is the start that Scump actually had for Optic Gaming. I believe he goes 7-1. He gets a dunk as well and streaks. I mean that's the exact start you want.
Yeah, he definitely had an explosive start. You see that from Scump all the time. Starting off 7-1, starting off 6-0, and that really helped his team. Get that dunk, like you said, get streaks. And it just opens the start. It's like it's a great start you want from anyone.
Definitely is. The interesting thing, however, was Optic Gaming was outslaying pretty heavily in the first half, Teep, but they actually went into the half down 3-2. I mean, what went wrong, or I guess what was Red Reserve doing so well?
I don't want to take too much away from Red Reserve. They had some good defensive holds, a lot of interceptions on the map overall, but when Optic was outslaying that heavily over towards that ship side on that first half, we talked about it in this previous weeks a lot, where when you're getting those kills in the feed, you need to be moving drone at the same time. They're sort of kill first, then worry about the drone afterwards. I think that really punished them on this one. I think they really should have had 10, 12 points on that first half alone with the amount of kills that they were getting. But just those situations where Red Reserve could get the reset, stop the drone from progressing at all, and it sort of slowed it down.
And then just to talk about that first half, Optic Gaming had drone control probably for 4 out of 5 minutes of that half. I mean, Red Reserve was stuck in their base underneath the portal. Yes, the interceptions came in. Yes, there were some clutch defensive plays, and Optic did fail to capitalize on a lot of opportunities. But on the flip side, Red Reserve, they had 2 opportunities to score in that entire half. Both times they were able to get points on the board. They were making the plays, and again, they only had very few opportunities, but they were able to pull them off. Then even going in the second half, they opened up with 3 down. So they opened up with 3 down and immediately get points on the board as well. So yes, they were getting outslayed, but they were capitalizing a lot better than Optic was able to.
Well, as we said, Optic Gaming, they go 2-1 up in the series, and then we go over towards a hard point once again, and it was a familiar story almost, Apathy. I mean, you kind of made the point as we were watching the game. Just felt like teamwork and slaying, that was all Optic Gaming needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in hardpoint and just in this game in general, you know, the sling has to be there, and if the teamwork is there as well, like, you may not rotate at certain hills or you may not do the right play, but as long as you're doing something together and you're getting the kills, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, there's a look at that scoreboard, 250 to 123, and there was a couple of moments, Teep, where it almost felt like Red Reserve were getting caught in unlucky situations, or, I mean, how would you break it down?
It's fairly similar to the first hardpoint. They're sitting too far back. There are several situations where, number one, they're sprinting into kills. When you're playing against Optic Gaming, you're playing against these guys, you have to be ready for a gunfight at all times. You know how they play. They don't worry about the rotations necessarily as much, not necessarily the teamwork either. They play to get more kills. So you need to be ready for a gunfight at all times. And when you sacrifice so much hardpoint time on rotation and you get taken out for free, that's where this snowball happens. And it really started at drill. That first drill where Optic was able to push out both sides so heavily, Scump went on like a 4 or 5 streak just to open up the map. There's just nothing they can do to bounce back.
Very true, very true. Optic Gaming, the start they definitely wanted, of course, 3-1 for them, but more importantly, starting off the weekend 1-0 for Red Reserve. We'll see if maybe they can bounce back in some of their games later on today, but it is worth mentioning, of course, if you are watching Call of Duty esports action throughout the weekend, make sure you're watching on EVE. Of course, you can see it in action only at mlg.tv/COD. Up-to-date event statistics, we've got the featured player POVs, which is absolutely awesome, the score streak prediction game, and of course source quality. There's still plenty of Call of Duty esports to be played here though at week number 4 of the stage 1 of the Call of Duty Global Pro League presented by PlayStation 4. Optic Gaming starting off their campaign well. Up next, however, Enigma 6 go toe-to-toe with Elevate in both teams' first game of the weekend. We'll be back after this.